Spark Festival starts today. Thank you for tuning in to our opening night event, and I hope you have the opportunity to catch many more in the coming fortnight. It was always going to be tricky to host a major event in Australia in 2021, but now that we're here, and I look at all the wonderful events coming up for founders and business owners, I feel that our timing actually couldn't have been better. We look outside our borders, we'll see that there is indeed life after COVID, and that businesses and economies recover and just start getting on with it again. But what an opportunity we've all had to hit the reset button and to draw on our resilience and our innovation. These are those key characteristics we're all going to need as we support and grow the tech and digital businesses Australia needs to thrive in the economy of the future. The next 2 weeks are going to have so many learning opportunities that will stand you in excellent stead as we all move and shake our way forward into 2022. So many, in fact, that I appreciate that enormous Spark Festival program can be very overwhelming. And that's what tonight is all about. All of the events on our program are delivered by the Spark Festival community. So a big thank you to every single one of the almost 200 organisations that create our program and make Spark possible. Tonight you'll hear from around 25 people who are hosting events on the Spark program this year. And they're each going to be giving, in true startup style, 90-second pitches for their events. So stay tuned and keep an eye on the chat stream for links where you can register for these events. It'll be fast, and just like Spark Festival itself, it'll go fast, so make sure you stay focused. First of all, though, I'd like to give a big thank you to Investment New South Wales and the Greater Sydney Commission. These are the New South Wales government agencies who are the major sponsors of Spark Festival this year. Their year-round support is critical to the success of so many programs helping founders start and grow businesses in New South Wales. And to tell you a bit more about that, in just 2 minutes, I'd like to introduce our first speaker. Now, I have to say, our first speaker, Michelle Long, who's the Associate Director of the Sydney Startup Hub, was in fact a last-minute ring-in replacing Minister Stuart Ayres, who got called off to meet with the Premier. But honestly, given Michelle's passion for startups and her support for startups and the way that she runs that Sydney Startup Hub in such a wonderful fashion, especially over the last 2 years really of challenging times, we couldn't have a better person. So your 2 minutes starts now, Michelle, to tell us all about what's going on.
Thank you, Maxine, and I am certainly no substitute for the Honourable Minister Ayres. And as you said, he was called off to a meeting with our new Premier. So I will give it a go though, and thank you for the kind words, Maxine. So first of all, I'd like to thank Spark Festival for inviting the New South Wales Government to open this evening's event, or this year's festival. The Spark Festival, widely known in Australia as Australia's largest innovation festival, and it's an invaluable resource for the innovation community, not only in New South Wales, but across the entire country. And we're super proud to once again, for the 4th year running, I think, Maxine, be a major sponsor of this pretty incredible program. We were hoping to host it in person at the Sydney Startup Hub, and Maxine and I had many a conversation about, thinking that it was going to happen, but unfortunately it didn't. But we are looking forward to welcoming you all back to in-person events at the Sydney Startup Hub before the end of the year. And I think, Maxine, I don't know whether I'm letting a cat out of the bag, but we are planning on having a big festival, Spark Festival event at the Sydney Startup Hub before Christmas. So let's hope, fingers crossed, that stays on the agenda. And I apologise if I've let the cat out of the bag. So look, this evening you're going to hear about some amazing work that's been taking place across the innovation community and what's on offer over the next 3 weeks. So please enjoy this evening and enjoy the enormous Spark Festival program that's on offer. Please get to as many events as you can, and let's make this Spark Festival the best ever. all the best to date.
Thank you, Michelle, for those kind words. And yes, for signalling that exciting activity that will be happening in December, we hope. And next, we have a few words from Senator Jane Hume, who's the Federal Minister for Superannuation, Financial Services and the Digital Economy. And after Senator Hume, we will have Cheryl Mack. So prepare yourself, Cheryl.
Good evening, Spark Festival. I am absolutely delighted to be part of these opening festivities. You know, digital innovation is estimated to deliver around $315 billion in gross economic value to Australia over the next 10 years. And startups and innovators and entrepreneurs like you play such a critical role in that. So as the Minister for the Digital Economy, my role is to champion the great strides that we can and that we are making in Australia's digital economy, but also to ensure that we are ambitious about Australia's digital future. I am determined that we can harness the potential for the digital economy to create those better and higher paying jobs of the future, but in particular, putting on my other hat, improve female participation in the digital workforce in my dual role as the Minister for Women's Economic Security. And it's great to see so many women around the Zoom Brady Bunch boxes tonight. So the government's digital economy strategy is our $1.2 billion roadmap to help ensure that Australia is a leading digital economy and society by 2030. Our strategy aims to capitalise on existing government investments like the $1 billion Job Trainer program, NBN, the new payments platform, 5G, the list goes on. But it's also to lift the capabilities in sectors of competitive advantage like agriculture and mining by building capabilities in emerging technologies like AI and Internet of Things. And it's also to look at how we can take advantage of the high growth potential industries like fintech, regtech, and of course, the gaming sector. We'll ensure that our regulation and tax systems incentivise and support innovation. We want to create bridges with other countries for international growth of Aussie startups. And we're paving new ground for innovation and ultimately consumer benefit through initiatives like the Consumer Data Right. And events like this are so important for the ecosystem to get together, to share stories, and of course to support one another. So congratulations, Maxine, and to the whole Spark team for another great festival lineup this year. Thanks very much for inviting me along.
Thank you so much, Senator Hume. That means a lot. Next up, we have Cheryl Mack from the Founder Institute. And after Cheryl, we will have Rupal Ismin.
Excellent. Thank you so much for having me. So hello, everyone. My name is Cheryl. I'm a founder, investor, mentor, and everything in between. I'm also one of the co-directors of Founder Institute Australia. We believe that founders don't have to go it alone. Founder Institute is the largest pre-seed accelerator in the world, and we have over 5,000 portfolio companies. It's been running since 2009. And twice a year, we run a 14-week program for founders who are at the idea stage or early company stage. So I'm not going to lie, it is a really challenging process. It's designed to train founders in critical areas with a very structured methodology. And the program covers everything you need to get started and succeed on your founder journey, including things like customer development, branding, legal, hiring, capital raising, and so many more. Plus, it's designed so you don't have to quit your 9-to-5 to do it. And you'll get introduced to at least 25 mentors for one-to-one office hours. You'll join an equity collective of helpful founders, and you'll receive lifetime support from a global community once you complete the program. We are industry agnostic, so all founders are welcome to apply. And we also have a special track for sustainability-focused companies that has been running for the last couple of semesters. The next semester applications are open now, so we do invite you to apply. And SparkFest has an amazing program of events over the next couple of weeks, many of which our directors and alumni will be involved in. So I'm super excited for all of the events coming up, and I will see you all there.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. And yes, I actually forgot to mention that the format of this evening is something that I've lifted from the wonderful people at the Founder Institute. They did such a great job of it. And I'm also using a few of their resources to do it. So thank you so much, Founder Institute, for that. Our next speaker is Rupal Ismin from Sydney Knowledge Hub. And after Rupal, we will have Stephen Hunt.
Thank you, Maxine. So I'm Rupal Ismin. I'm the director of the Sydney Knowledge Hub within the University of Sydney. we help startups collaborate with the university. So we can help you with, one, working with our researchers. So if you are interested in collaborating on research with the university and don't know where to start, I can and we can help you navigate to the right researcher here. We can also help find funding for that collaboration. So right now, for instance, the New South Wales Tech Voucher program is on. Essentially, that's match funding for your spend with research organizations. We can also help you with student workplace opportunities. So look out, we're always looking for cool companies that our students, particular engineers, can work on or within for internships, group projects, and things like that. We can also help you with accessing our core research facilities. So this is our high-end research infrastructure at the university. This isn't lab space, but we have facilities you can access, such as the Sydney Informatics Hub, which is all things data, such as visualization, access to our supercomputers, our mass spectrometry and analytical services for chemicals and biological matter, our Sydney Manufacturing Hub, which is our newest additive manufacturing facility for metals, ceramics, and polymers. And I guess most visibly, we run a co-working space. So we have a co-working space on campus where 22 organizations, half of them are early stage research based businesses from the university. The other half are external organizations, like potentially some of you guys that want to collaborate with our university. So reach out if you're interested, and you can also sign up for newsletters for a curated events around research commercialization.
Thank you, Rupal. Next, we have Stephen Hunt, who is a new person to the Spark world this year, and a very exciting addition. So I will leave him to speak about that. And after Stephen, we'll have Chantal Abouchar.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And it's a pleasure to be here. My name's Stephen Hunt. I'm the co-founder and COO of a company called Music Health. But prior to starting that journey, which is quite recent, I founded Australia's first startup incubator dedicated to music startups, which is called the AIM Innovation Hub. And it sits within Australia's oldest music university, the Australian Institute of Music. And if you think about music, you probably wonder your mind back to the early days where it was pirated and people thought it was a really bad place to try to do a startup or to even invest any money. And we're here to tell you that that has completely changed. Music catalogs are being bought up overseas as AAA class assets at the moment. And you're seeing huge IPOs for the big rights holders. And coming in underneath that is a huge amount of startup activity with founders who are doing amazing things. And it's a complicated industry. So we set up an incubator and a team around it to help these founders navigate it and find their way. And so come and have a look at our event. We've got some amazing speakers from the industry, as well as some investors who are having a really great experience getting involved with music founders. And you'll hear, of course, from a couple of founders themselves. So we hope to see you. Thank you.
Thanks, Stephen. Very exciting. Next up, we have Chantal Abouchar from the studio. And after Chantal, we'll have Adriana Belotti.
Hey, thank you. Just let me know if I go too long. So great to be here. Fantastic to be part of Spark Festival. Maxine, I still remember years ago when I brought sort of into Spark Festival, this sort of helped to sort of really ignite the creative industries and sound and music, Stephen, as well. So for those of you that don't know, the studio is one of the anchor tenants of the Sydney Startup Hub. We broadly focused on transformative communications, and creative tech startups, media tech startups, but cross industry. So we actually have people working in sound, in music, and all different areas of communication. We've got two fantastic events for Spark Festival, one that we held today called Back in the Game. And we really wanted to drill down into the opportunities that are about to really surface due to a new federal government tax incentive, 30% tax rebate for games. Games being a $280 billion industry globally, and Australia only has a really small part of that pie. That's all about to change. So we're looking forward to welcoming more game developers or people working with game technologies into the studio. Further on next Wednesday, we've got a focus around NFTs and the rise of crypto art. So this again is a really growing area. We'll be looking at companies like Immutable, but we've also got we're going to be featuring some great panelists who are working within this space. NFTs being non-fungible tokens. I'm sure there's a lot of people that know more than me about all of that, but I'm really looking forward to that event. One last thing to mention before we go, the studio runs a founders program as well. We started it last year. We've incubated or accelerated 70 startups through the program. And we've got another cohort, call out for a cohort now. And I think my time is probably up. See our website, 88 million raised by startups in the studio in the last 3 years.
Congratulations, Chantal. That's awesome. Well, perfect timing. Our next speaker is Adriana Belotti from Blockchain Professionals, who is all about the NFT. After Adriana, we will have Ben Pecotich.
Thanks, Maxine. Yes, great timing. Yes, hello, I'm Adriana Belotti. I've been in the crypto community since 2014. I wear a lot of hats. I work with a variety of companies. I'm on the board of Blockchain Australia. I'm with the National Blockchain Roadmap, with the Department of Industry. Yes, I organize meetups, Blockchain Professionals. We have over 3,000 members. And I also host a podcast, which is a spin-off of the Meetup called the Blockchain Pro Podcast. I also work with the Algorand Foundation as their local community champion. And it's very easy to work with them because I love their ethos and everything about their tech. So my event is called NFT Sparkle, a deep dive into this fascinating new world. And it's on this Friday at 12:30. And we're gonna do a bit of a deep dive, as deep as we can go in 60 minutes. We'll cover the basics of how NFTs work, what's the difference between non-fungible tokens and fungible tokens. We're gonna talk a little bit about the legal issues and why this is a great thing for creatives and artists, which will be a good segue for Chantal's panel next week. But we're also going to talk about other use cases because there are business use cases for NFTs. I have a great panel of amazing humans, all local except for one who is now living in the Philippines. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all on Friday. Thanks very much.
Awesome. Thanks, Adriana. That's awesome. Next up, we have Ben Pecotich from Sydney Design Thinking Meetup and Dynamic 4. After Ben, we'll have Biliana Rajevic.
How you doing? Awesome to see you all. So I'm Ben from Dynamic 4. We're a social enterprise and B Corp focused on design and innovation for happier communities. I'm also the co-founder of Sydney Design Thinking Meetup, and we're a community of 8,000 now, a bit over 8,000, and we meet every month. Not all 8,000 of us. Tomorrow night at 6 p.m, to be specific, is our 64th meetup, and we're stoked to be part of the SparkFest program again this year. The theme tomorrow night is design thinking in social enterprise startups. And so, you know, when you've got an idea for a social enterprise that you think will help solve a problem that really matters, but you're really busy, you're not sure how to make it happen, it's really easy to get overwhelmed. Well, this is the session for you. That was my 10-second pitch. So hopefully that's enough to tease you to come along tomorrow night. I'll actually be presenting tomorrow night, and it'll be pretty much the first sort of launch event of my book, Solve Problems That Matter, which is all about how to design, build, and launch your social enterprise idea. So focusing on 3 questions: what are these problems that matter and why should I care? How do I solve them and how do I make it happen? So I'd love to see you there. And looking forward to seeing a bunch of the other awesome events over the next couple of weeks as well. A massive thanks to Maxine and the Spark team for bringing the ecosystem together and doing your magic as you do every year and all during the year as well. So thank you and have fun. Look forward to catching up with everyone soon.
Thanks, Ben. And yeah, it really is a terrific meetup to go along to, especially if you are, you know, design thinking curious and want to find out about this interesting world. It's a great one. Next up, we have Biliana Rajevic from Sydney Quantum Academy. And after Biliana, we have Liz Jackson.
Yes, thank you, Maxine. Hi, everyone. I'm Biliana, and I lead external engagement at Sydney Quantum Academy. We are a joint venture between Macquarie University, UNSW, University of Sydney, UTS, and we're funded by the New South Wales government. So the SQA was formed 2 years ago to help build Australia's future quantum economy. to connect our quantum scientists with industry and government, and together explore and understand future implications and applications of quantum tech, and to develop diverse talent and a globally recognized quantum tech ecosystem in Australia. And so one of our initiatives is the establishment this year of Quantum Innovators Network, where we want to bring together quantum tech entrepreneurs, investors, deep tech enthusiasts, and create a community where people can have an opportunity to network, support each other, and learn from one another. And so next Wednesday, I'll be speaking with Vikram Sharma, who is a co-founder and CEO of Australian startup Confrontations Labs. So we know that quantum computers, once they become powerful enough, may be able to break current encryption systems. But quantum can also be used to deliver revolutionary cybersecurity technologies. And Q Labs is leading the development of next generation quantum cybersecurity solutions that will help keep our data safe from sophisticated attacks, such as those from quantum computers. And this is a great example of taking scientific research from academia and turning it into a very much needed commercial solution. And at our fireside chat, we'll discuss Vikram's startup journey, how he's building a global company from Australia, and hear his views on quantum computing risks to cryptography and the future of cybersecurity.
Thanks, Biliana. It really is exciting times for quantum. Yeah, lots more developments over the next 12 months, I feel. Next up, we have Liz Jackson from Sydney Catholic Schools, who is the force of nature behind our amazing Find My Spark program. After Liz, we'll have Mark Redding.
Thanks for the intro, Maxine, and hello everybody. Liz here. For most of you who know me, I'm a very passionate educator and advocate for grassroots entrepreneurship. And with over 9,000 schools across Australia, it gives me great honour to speak on behalf of a wonderful group of activators, very keen to support school-age students. And as the chair of the Education Committee of Find My Spark, I would like to welcome you all to check out the tab called Find My Spark on the Spark Festival website, because it's all about connecting the K-12 entrepreneurial education ecosystem, which includes educators, students, policymakers, external providers, and all of those wonderful people who want to support entrepreneurship to be an equally valid career pathway for our young people. So I encourage you to share this wonderful opportunity with your local school, your children, your nieces, your nephews, or any school-age student that you might know. The Find My Spark Festival for this year has 3 key pillars, which focus on increasing awareness to help create opportunities for positive, diverse and relatable role models for young people, to raise general awareness for our teachers and our students, looking at supporting teacher capacity and capability with a really strong teacher education focus, and providing wonderful access to a range of resources to help support and build an education focus in and through entrepreneurship. So please explore. There are 13 events in total, some of which focus on micro-credentials, a guild entrepreneurship library, and a number of pitch events. Look forward to seeing you all there.
Thanks, Liz, and thank you so much for all the work you do with that program. It's a massive thing to pull together. Next up, we have Mark Redding from Atlassian Foundation and Pledge 1%, who's here to tell you a bit about Pledge 1%. And after Mark, we will have Jack Chi.
Thanks very much, Maxine. Hi, everyone. Yes, as Maxine said, my name is Mark Redding. I'm the head of the Atlassian Foundation. We don't have an event this year, but we do have a message. And that message is to founders of businesses, or if you're not a founder and you're an employee of a business and you'd like your founder to engage, then it's to you as well. And that is that Pledge 1% is a way of baking social impact into the DNA of your business. Essentially, our co-founders, Scott and Mike, back in the really early days of Atlassian, and we're talking like 2004, 2005, said, look, we're going to use 1% of all the resources of Atlassian for good. And that was the foundation of what became the Atlassian Foundation. And there's been a hell of a lot of good that's been achieved through the resources of Atlassian. So my request to you, if you're a founder or you've got any influence over a founder, is think about becoming part of the Pledge 1% movement. There's over 15,000 businesses around the world, some very small, some very large, and everything in between. There's over 1,300 here in Australia, who have all basically committed to commit at least 1% of either or the equity in the company, the profits of the company, the time of the people in the company, or the product or service of the company, to use that for good. I'm pretty sure that every single event that's part of the Spark Festival has, as part of the registration process, Maxine, you can perhaps confirm this in a moment, an opportunity to sign up for Pledge 1% and links to learn more. It's a great concept. It's helping business to really have a positive impact in the world above and beyond, you know, your core service offering. And so please think about it and please be part of it.
Thanks, Mark. And yes, all the events on our Humanitics platform do indeed integrate that. So plenty of opportunity to explore Pledge 1%. And I do actually myself urge you to explore it as well. I chatted with the people in the US who are running Pledge 1% the other day, and they've got lots of exciting developments coming up in the future, really building a community around the whole Pledge 1% thing. So definitely check it out. And thank you again, Mark. Next up, we have Jack Chi from William Buck, and after Jack, we'll have Mike Boorn Plener from Catapult.
Thanks, Maxine. Hi, everyone. I'm Jack Chi, accountant, startup mentor, and investor from William Buck, and we're proud and excited to once again be gold sponsors of Spark Festival. For those who haven't heard of us, William Buck are accountants and advisors to the SME sector. In terms of my own team, all we do is work with startups and scale-ups, so we live and breathe tech. So let me tell you about our event this Friday, Ignite Your Financials. Over the years, we've seen it all when it comes to how startups manage their financials, the good, the bad, and the silly. My colleague Alex Anzopoulos and I decided to prepare a practical session that covers the key financial tips and traps a startup founder should know. This is going to be a condensed and concentrated version of our experience over the years. So busy founders attending the session will get maximum return on investment for their time. So we think this is both free and good, two things that don't normally come together. So I hope to see you there. In terms of the tech space, in the tech space, we're big on pivoting. And I think the Spark team has done a fantastic job pivoting from all in-person events to all virtual events. And I'm really looking forward to this year's festival. Hopefully, with any luck, Spark will have to pivot again next year so that we can meet in person.
Thank you so much, Jack. And yes, a big thank you to William Buck as well for being our amazing gold partners. Such a pleasure to work with. And Jack actually neglected to mention the second event that you're involved in, which is the massive reverse pitch for all the accelerator programs. It's happening same bat time, same bat channel next week. So do tune into that one as well.
Yeah. Thanks, Maxine. And that's not false advertising. It is massive. There is a huge list of accelerators and a big attendees list. So definitely don't miss out on that one.
Yeah, that will be a total highlight. Absolutely. Do tune into that one. Next up, we've got Mike Boorn Plener from Catapult, another organisation supporting startups. And after Mike, we'll have Remco Marcelis.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. I'm Mike Plener, and I'm the founder of Catapult. If you're a startup or a scale-up looking to grow your revenue or secure capital, we've got 3 amazing events coming up in the next 2 weeks that I would be strongly encouraging you to check out. So you might wonder, what is Catapult? We help businesses like yours grow, scale, and get funded. We evaluate over 1,000 businesses every year to find just a few that are outstanding and that we can take to the next level. We work with every founder very individually to get the outcomes that you're looking for. And our process is very hands-on with lots of deep dives to ensure you succeed. Our team is full of people that have founded great businesses, gone international, raised capital, and exited. So to get in touch, just find me on LinkedIn and we'll go from there. So as I said, we've got 3 events coming up over the next 2 weeks. First one, which is tomorrow, is called Ramp Your Revenue. So if you're looking to grow your revenue, but not spend a fortune, or you're not sure what growth hacking really means, or keen to learn how to use other people's contact lists, there's lots to learn in this very practical, very fast-paced, and exceptionally hands-on kind of workshop for those of you that really looking for some more revenue. Next week, we have our signature event coming up. It's called Challenge the Funder. So come and experience having the investors tell you why you should work with them, not the other way around, which is what most of us are used to all the time. have your toughest questions about getting funded answered and understand maybe why you haven't been funded yet. We see lots of people come to this event and walk away from it and going, that's what I've been missing. And suddenly everything turned around for them. And last but not least, a bit of a fun one coming up the week after called Pitch Rama. So if you're ready to get into the lion's den, get to pitch before a panel of experts and investors. It's tight, it's fast, and you get immediate feedback. All our events are on the Spark Festival website. Go book yourself in right now so you don't miss out. And I'll look forward to seeing you there soon.
Thank you so much, Mike. I'm going to try and make time to turn up to your growth hacking one tomorrow myself.
Thank you.
Subject dear to my heart at the moment. Next up, we have Remco Marcelis from Standard Ledger. And after Remco, we will have Therese Ravell.
Hey everyone, yeah, hi, I'm Remco. I usually don't bother with the last name because everyone trips over the first one. So yeah, just Remco. Founder of Standard Ledger, sometimes known as a chief cash hustler. Not a very normal description for either an accountant or a CFO, and I'm both. But that's okay. We're not especially normal, and yeah, we're okay with that too. Right. So what are we though? Right. We're an accounting firm dedicated to startups, and we've heard a few of those already tonight. Startups, scale-ups, and other fast-growing businesses. And why we call ourselves cash hustlers, because a really big part of every startup's growth journey is about watching the cash, and especially the future cash forecast. Right. It's all good and well looking backwards, right? But you want to look forwards in time to do something about it. So we're passionate about helping startups on this because at the end of the day, cash equals survival, right? So we're doing a talk next week, Tuesday, on startup funding, and we're going to talk about all your funding options to keep that cash flowing. So what are we going to talk about? Like a gamut of options: government incentives like R&D, tax, and grants; non-equity options like R&D loans and revenue-based financing. And of course, a little bit about equity and equity crowdfunding. We're going to run through each of those options in turn and how they fit in along your growth journey. So yeah, love to have you along, and hope to see some of you next Tuesday.
Thank you so much, Remco. Next up, we have Therese Ravell from Impact HR. And after Therese, we have Monica Wolf.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Maxine, and the entire Spark team for inviting me to the opening night tonight. Such a pleasure to be involved again with Spark Festival. I have been running Impact HR now for 12 years, and one of the things that the Impact HR team and I are really passionate about is supporting startup founders and managers who are confused or struggling with complex employment legislation to become HR confident and competent, so that you know both your employee rights and your responsibilities. We help you to balance the needs of your team and your business in a really pragmatic way. And we deliver all that through our virtual HR as needed support program. So you don't need to sign up for ongoing subscriptions or any of those things, which really allows you to focus on what your business needs right now, rather than being pulled in different directions. This year, we are really pleased to be providing 4 events at Spark Festival. We hope that you will enjoy and participate in these how-to sessions, which are designed to make your life easier and give you lots of tools and takeaways to really help you grow and scale your team and make that scaling process as easy as possible for you. I will be presenting next week on Wednesday, a talk called Conversations, Not Confrontations. It's all about shifting your mindset in regards to having some of those difficult and challenging conversations about performance or other issues that regularly come up as you are growing. The other presentation that I personally will be doing is around the art of delegation. It's all great to scale, but how do we give pieces away of our own workload so we can continue to focus on the things that are really important? And how do we do that in a way that we get the results that we need on an ongoing basis and don't end up taking back on that workload because it's not being done the way we want it to? My colleague Catherine will be presenting 2 courses which are vitally important right now, particularly with everything that we've been going through with COVID. We've chosen to provide a presentation on how to lead with compassion and transform your business, and that will be running this Friday at 12 p.m. And then next week on Friday, which is the 22nd, she'll be leading another webinar, which is Emotional Intelligence for Leaders. As we know, our businesses can have the best systems and processes in place, but without that true leadership, it's really hard to make the progress we're capable of. We hope that you'll join us at some of those events.
Thank you so much, Therese. And yeah, that's incredibly generous of you to put on 4 events. So I'm sure we're all looking forward.
Pleasure.
To them. Next up, we have Monica Wolf from WeWork Labs. And then after Monica, we'll have Jack Dean.
Hi, everyone. I'm Monica from WeWork Labs. I run the entrepreneurial division for the Asia Pacific region. So WeWork Labs, we support our startup members by connecting them with highly skilled, vetted industry and skill experts from across the globe. We have an extensive perks program that's worth about $400,000 USD. And we also do tailored educational programming. And one of these programs we're currently running is called Sales Academy, which takes you through the entire sales process from go to woe. If you're a novice, it's phenomenal. And also if you're not, it's got some really good tips. And this year we've opened it up to the public. We usually do this only in-house, and we have a couple of events that are happening during Spark. So the first one is creating a convincing pitch framework on the 19th at 2 p.m. with Layla Oliveira from CapVista. And then we also have the art of demoing on the 22nd at 2 p.m. with Mark Baskin from HubSpot. Now, these are really important because pitching and demoing in a sales context is very different than when you're fundraising or when you're doing like a pitch competition, or essentially what I'm doing now. So those are our 2 events that we've got going on. And if you do find events like these and these kinds of programs enjoyable, WeWork has launched an initiative called Growth Campus, which is completely designed to help move our startups beyond the pandemic. So what we've done is we've offered highly subsidized private office space and free access to WeWork Labs. So I hope you enjoy all of the events. I hope you come to Sales Academy and see what we're about. And thank you so much, Maxine and the team, for letting us take part and for all the hard work that you do in cultivating this New South Wales startup ecosystem all the time, non-stop. So thanks.
Thank you so much, Monica. Next up, we have Jack Dean from FullStack Advisory, because clearly we heart accountants here at Spark Festival. Yeah. They are the hero, the unsung heroes of startup land. After Jack, we'll have Jason Atkins.
Absolutely. Thanks for it's finally good to get some recognition. Thanks, Maxine. So my name is Jack Dean, and I'm the R&D tax and grants guru from FullStack Advisory. So we're an accounting and advisory firm that specialises in startups and innovative businesses. We're a startup ourselves, so we're very familiar with the ecosystem and the major pain points. So very excited to be part of the Spark Festival for the second time. The event that I'll be hosting is a panel discussion called the R&D Tax Incentive, the Evolving Landscape. And it's next Thursday, the 21st of October at 1 p.m. There's been a lot that's changed in the R&D tax space over the last few years, and there's been a lot of discussion, some correct, some not so correct. So we're going to provide an update about the program and dispel some of the most common misconceptions. Presentations on the R&D tax can often be a bit dry, and it's just reading eligibility criteria off a slide all the time. So we thought this year we would do something different and mix it up. So we put together an amazing panel so you can hear from some real founders and decision makers about their experiences with the program. So our panel is very, very exciting. We have Anders Eriksson, the director and CTO of Precision AI, a medtech company in the orthopedic space. We have Kylie McDevitt, the owner and founder of InfoSec, who offer specialized training in cybersecurity and do R&D in that area as well. And we also have Ludo Meow. You've probably heard of him. He's the founder of the biohacking movement in Australia, and he currently runs Moth Diagnostics, who are developing a better COVID test. So in this panel discussion, we will discuss how to best engage with the program, how to improve and increase your claims to the extent that you're allowed to as per the legislation. And we will talk about how a broader grant strategy should be an integral part of your startup journey. So that's the R&D Tax Incentive, the Evolving Landscape, Thursday, 21st of October at 1 p.m. Hope to see you there. Thanks.
Thank you, Jack. That's awesome. Next up, we have Jason Atkins from Cake Equity, continuing the accounting theme in some ways. And then after that, we've got Melissa Rand.
Yeah, hi everyone. Yeah, we partner with most of those accountants. They're very, very helpful for founders raising capital. Yeah, look, keeping this party going with some cake for Spark. We have a cracking 1 hour virtual session on how venture capital is going global. Hosted by the legendary Lauren from Startmate. We have investors from Airtree, Blackbird, Qualgrow, Techstars, and little old me as well. Some really great leaders there in the capital raising space. Last time we had an investor session like this, it was super fun. We had heaps of nuggets of gold for anyone listening. We'll be chatting about things like, how many Australian startups are raising from overseas and what does that look like? Lots of international investors are coming to Australia. Singapore, is super connected to global capital, especially in the US. What are the difference between investors in the different regions? Do you need to set up your company or operations in Asia or the US to get access to international investors? And Cake has just raised with a US lead and Aussie investors. So we have some great info hot off the press to share there as well. So yeah, this one's not to be missed. Don't forget to book it in. It's October 20, so next Wednesday, 1:30 Sydney time, 11:30 Singapore time. We've got Australia's top 2 VCs, plus incredible friends, Qualgrow and Techstars from Singapore. So yeah, make sure you join us.
Thank you so much, Jason. Yeah, absolutely. And it's really great to have you in the Spark family this year.
Yeah, stoked to be here.
We've got Melissa Rand from Airtree, and then after Melissa, we'll have Alan Jones.
Thanks, Maxine. Hello, everybody. So happy to be here. I'm Mel from Airtree Ventures, and as Jason just said, apparently top 2 VCs in Australia. Thanks, Jason.
I just thought I'd do that.
So we're a venture capital fund, and our mission is to back the most ambitious and the most relentless Australian and New Zealand technology founders. And we want to back them from the very early stages of their startup journey, often pre-revenue, pre-product, all the way through to exit, through to IPO. And we've been very privileged to work with some of the most successful and fastest growing startups in our region, including Canva, Cloud Guru, GoOne, Linktree, and also Mr. Yum, which is going to be the startup that we're going to highlight for our event. So the event that we're putting on for Spark this year is all about big global ambitions. So it's not to be missed if you're a part of a startup that's looking to expand to the US or to the UK. So our partner, James, is going to have a very candid interview, a candid chat with Kim Teo, the CEO and co-founder of Mr. Yum, about their incredible growth story and the tips that she has for other startups looking to expand overseas. And so what has Mr. Yum accomplished? They are a web-based QR code order and payment and growth platform for the hospitality industry. You might have seen quite a bit of press with them. They've been really helpful to our retailers and hospitality restaurants through COVID. They went from 0 to 11 million global users in a very few short years. And, they started with a no-code hacking tools together to make things work because their co-founders were all not technical. And earlier in this year, they were featured by New York Times as a pioneer in the QR code business integration space. And just last week, they were named number 4 on LinkedIn Australia's top startups list. So definitely a very exciting and hot startup to watch. And yeah, Kim will be sharing a lot of very candid tips on how her team has been able to scale really fast. They're rapidly hiring over 100 people now in their team in the UK and the US. So she'll be sharing a lot of lessons there about their culture and their operations.
That's great. Thanks, Mel. And yeah, thank you for that backstory. That really is quite inspirational about going from, using no-code tools to where they are right now. I can't wait to hear that one. Next up, we have Alan Jones from Mate Ventures, who knows what's going to happen in the next 90 seconds, but it's totally going to be fun. After Alan, we'll have Lauren Kaplan.
Hey, Groovers, and thanks, Maxine. Thanks for having me. Look, I love the startup industry. I love many of you, and I know many of you like hanging out with me too. But gee, we can be serious sometimes, can't we? We can really, really be serious about this whole startup thing. And that's great. That's fine. I love that, but I wish just sometimes we could have a little bit of fun. So Friday the 22nd of October is fun night for Spark Festival this year. And we have 3 massive events: a pitch event from the Fishburners, held at the end of the night with an improv comedy night from Blue Chili, and us at M8 Ventures alongside Hacker Exchange and Galileo Ventures are putting on something that we call Don't Be a Dick. There it is there. And what we're asking, in fact, we're already receiving applications for, is for people not to pitch us with a deck. Because, you know, at the end of the day, it's the same damn 15 slides every single time. So what we want to hear from everybody this time is their best creative approach. And I see Julietrell sitting right next to me there on the Zoom panel, and she's an expert at improv and bringing these things to life. So we've had people already submit TikTok videos, stand-up routines, poetry, an original musical composition, interpretive dance, it doesn't matter, but no decks, that's the rule. There's real cash prizes on board, so this is not just about the usual, you know, non-cash meetings with, you know, a mentor or something like that. But please register for the event. Please submit your best pitch application. It doesn't actually have to be for a startup you're doing right now. So please come along to Don't Be a Deck and have a great night with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alan. Yeah, next Friday is going to be awesome because this event is then followed up by a startup comedy and improv night from the good people at Blue Chili. So definitely worth setting some indoor time next Friday again. Next up, we've got Lauren Kaplan from Startmate. And then after that, we have Julietrell.
Thank you, Maxine. That was such a great intro for Alan. I totally agree. Who knows what could have happened in that 90 seconds, but there you go. It's great to be here and great to have this spot on the lineup because I get to hear, you know, get the benefit of hearing all the incredible stuff that's happening over the next little while through Spark Festival. I'm here to share a little bit more about what Startmate is doing in that context. And for the background on Startmate, obviously we've operated in Australia as one of the kind of largest and longest running accelerator programs over the last decade or so, now also operating into New Zealand. We have 170 portfolio companies and their collective value is over 2 billion at this point. So an incredible batch of Aussie and New Zealand success stories in our portfolio. But what has happened over the last couple of years at Startmate is that we've started to branch out into the other areas of what is important for startup growth and supporting the ecosystem at large. And that's really taken place through our fellowship programs. We've been running the Women's Fellowship Program for the last couple of years to get women into the startup ecosystem just generally, because obviously there is a huge gap there. But our fellowship programs have actually expanded over the last year as well to include a student fellowship generally to look at that next wave of talent who should be coming into the ecosystem. And now we're starting to look at our vertical specific, so engineering, product management, and more in the pipe to come soon. But the other side of that equation is also the investor side of things. And we actually have a fellowship program more specifically devoted to getting new investors into the ecosystem, angel investors through our First Believers program, which leads me to the key event that we're running at SparkFest this year is our event called Checkmate. We have not yet exhausted the ways you can use mate in a whole bunch of different sentences. And Checkmate is really about having a bunch of our budding angel investors, people who've been part of our First Believers program, people who are mentors and investors in the Startmate cohorts, share a little bit about that first experience of, you know, the very first money they invested, the way they got comfortable with making that first angel investment. So it's really going to be a great educational and very candid conversation for any of you who are thinking about what does it actually take to go from founder to investor, from, you know, seeing all of your wonderful friends building great startups and not knowing how to actually play a role and get some skin in the game. So really looking forward to sharing that with you and being involved in a bunch of other events alongside of it.
Thank you so much, Lauren. Next up, we have Julietrell from CEO. And after Julie, we'll have Courtney Blackman.
Thanks, Maxine. And Alan, thanks for the shout out for this. I'm going to do things a little differently. There once was a herder of cats, Maxine with a tip of our hats. My 90 seconds of time, I'll turn into rhyme and dazzle you with CEO impacts. I'm honored to be here, I'll tell. Twitter handle, you'll find Julietrell. CEO country lead, more than ventures we seed, a loan fund, Australia's groundswell. An ask and a give shared each week. At our summit, we'll show you a peek. 4 sessions we've planned, announcements so grand, interactive so all guests can speak. Our first session is focused on finance. In sight to our model, you will glance. A perpetual loan fund, zero interest, you're stunned? Could it be you will see more than grants? The next session will be revealed, which 5 ventures to activators appealed for their business impact and their product, in fact. Until then, the secret is sealed. Our third session, not to be missed, systems inequities that should not exist. Discover new ways, new business you'll praise, women working on the world's to-do list. The last session we'll focus is mindset. Build resilience if you've not got that yet. From mindfulness Zen or hypnosis playpen, you'll leave with no emotional debt. Hope to see you at the CEO Summit, the 25th and 26th. One link will sign you up for the four events, and a shout out to all the activators on this call. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Julietrell. It's actually reminding me of the time many years ago when I started an event. It was a pitch night kind of thing where everyone had 3 minutes, and the first person on the night was the oatmeal. And my friend Carl was following the oatmeal up, and he gave me daggers as he looked across as he entered the stage saying, Maxine, you don't start a show with a showstopper. And I think you've just done an awesome job there, Julie. Thank you so much. Next up, we have Courtney Blackman from YBF Ventures. So many wonderful women on this program tonight. It's amazing. After Courtney, we're continuing that theme with Siobhan Curran.
Okay, hi everybody. It's really hard to follow Julie, but Julie, that was awesome. So thanks. So my name is Courtney Blackman, joining you from Melbourne this evening, and I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of YBF Ventures, which is Australia's oldest tech and innovation hub. We used to be known as York Butter Factories, you might know us as that. And we do 3 things. We provide premium co-working space for tech startups and scale-ups. We do corporate innovation, and we also do entrepreneurial education. And some of the world's largest tech companies started their Australian or APAC journeys from YBF, and many are still based out of our spaces in Melbourne, Sydney, or both. And we've got 3 unicorns at the moment, so that's awesome. And we're super excited to be involved at Spark Festival again this year. So thank you, Maxine and the team. And we are doing 2 events next week. So next Wednesday, we've got an online panel called Fast Change, New Opportunities, and Introduction to Innovation Hubs. So at YBF, we've designed and delivered leading and award-winning innovation hubs for Australian and international corporates, as well as governments. So our CEO, our Chief Program Officer, and the Chief Executive Partner of Lander & Rogers will be sharing about why they're important, especially for the new economy. And that will be moderated by the one and only editor of Startup Daily, Simon Thompson. And shout out to Simon if you're on this call, or the Zoom. The following day, so next Thursday from 1 p.m. to 12 p.m., we're doing how to successfully design a tech project, co-design a tech project. And we'll have 3 of Australia's top legal tech startups from our Law Tech Hub. That's a partnership between us and Lander & Rogers. And we'll also have a corporate counterpoint, and we'll be discussing how to manage a co-design tech project, tackling things like how do you price it, who owns the intellectual property, and all that jazz. It should be super helpful if you're going to be building a project, or on the flip side, if you're a corporate and you're hiring a startup to build something for you. So head over to the programs page or to the chat where Bronte has put the links, and sign up, and we'll see you there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Courtney. It's been great to have you in our world, in the Spark world, over the last 12 months. Next up, we have Siobhan Curran from the I2N Hub at the University of Newcastle. And after Siobhan, we'll have Axella.
Hi, my name's Siobhan Curran from the University of Newcastle's Integrated Innovation Network, or I2N. So I'm pitching our events, but I'm also pitching Newcastle as an incredible entrepreneurship ecosystem that you should visit when it's safe to do so. So at the I2N, our goals are twofold. Firstly, we know not everyone wants to be an entrepreneur, but we know that entrepreneurship skills really set people apart and increases their employability prospects. So we provide opportunities for people to grow and flex their entrepreneurship muscle. And a really great example of that is the New Futures Hackathon for Water Security that we're hosting as part of Spark Festival in partnership with Hunter Water and the City of Newcastle this Friday night and all day Saturday. There's over $8,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs, and you can join from the comfort of your couch. There's no tech experience needed. You just have to have an appetite for discovery and really tight turnarounds. Secondly, for those that do want to start a new venture or grow an existing one, we have a range of initiatives that connect you to our community through our learning events and access to coaching through our mentoring and cohort-based programs. One of those events that we've got coming up as part of Spark Festival is Startup Stories with Adam Boyle from Pegasus on Friday, the 22nd of October. Adam is a local entrepreneur who will be sharing his journey of turning a traditional labour hire company into a SaaS workplace management platform. And he's got a capital raise and a recent acquisition under his belt as well. So this month we celebrate 5 years of operation at I2N. And in fact, Adam's event is our 77th Startup Stories. Newey is often referred to as a Goldilocks city for good reason. We're not too big and we're not too small. Our entrepreneurship ecosystem is just right when it comes to growing your ventures. And Newey is really punching above its weight when it comes to clean tech startups. You might have heard of MGA Thermal, Diffuse Energy, Hone, Switched In, and 3ME. They're all local low emissions and clean tech startups. So when restrictions ease, I'd encourage you to connect with our ecosystem by grabbing a free co-working day pass at our new I2N hub at our landing pad, which we're doing with the support of the City of Newcastle.
Thank you so much, Siobhan. Always good to have Newey on the program. You've been with us pretty much since the beginning as well.
We love Spark.
Next year, we'll have that proper Spark hub for sure. Next up, we have, and forgive me, Ike, I only met you yesterday, so Ike Zeller from Stone and Chalk. You can correct me in a moment. And then after this, we'll have Julia Spicer.
Yeah, thank you, Maxine, and good evening, everyone. So my name is actually Ike Zeller. I'm the community lead of Stone and Chalk in Melbourne. And the Stone and Chalk Group is Australia's leading impact network for emerging technology. So together with AustCyber, we have curated a community of over 400 startups and scale-ups, and we are non-for-profit that is here to identify, nurture, connect, and propel those who are set out to solve world's most pressing and social and business challenges. So it's my pleasure to announce 3 events that are really close to our heart, what we do here at Stone and Chalk. So tomorrow, at October 14th, we'll kick off with an amazing panel of startup veterans and corporate legends. So don't miss Entrepreneurial Spirit, Who Does It Best. And then next Wednesday, October 20th, we'll be bringing to you Who's Included? Startups who celebrate diversity. So we will be looking at startups and businesses striving to create inclusive cultures. And then finally, next Thursday, October 21st, we are hosting an exciting panel on building a thriving startup community. So this is in collaboration with the Startup Collective, where we have a panel of 4 leaders who will explore the essentials in building thriving startup communities and how community can boost your business. So I'm looking forward to seeing all of you at the events, and also looking forward to partaking in all of the wonderful offerings of the Spark Festival. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ike. And next up, we have all the way from Goondiwindi, Queensland, we have Julia Spicer. And after Julia, we'll have Adam Mostagal.
Hi, Maxine. Thanks very much for having me as part of the launch, and hi to everybody this evening. As Maxine said, I'm based in Goondiwindi, which is southwest Queensland. We're having an in-person event, which is unheard of at this time. But also most of you seem to be New South Wales, so you're really at the moment. So whilst we'd love to have you, it seems very difficult to get any of you across the border. We are really excited to be hosting Country Spark. So looking at being able to really showcase what's happening west of the Great Divide. We've got site visits as part of the day and a half. We've got locals who are leading the way in terms of the innovation that's happening in this regional area. We've got some different panels. So we are, Alan, you talked before about, no decks. We also don't want them. So we're really focusing around what's the information, what's the conversation, and what's the action that can come from a whole range of panels. So one of that is, what does the investment ecosystem look like in regional areas? Often there's a lot of wealth in agriculture, and I don't think we tap into that very well for some of the community activities that we're doing. We're having around, will automation be the growth or death of rural Australia, particularly at the moment when we don't have nearly enough people to take on a lot of the roles that we have available. We have a panel of government people at both a federal and state level who are being part of the event, so that we can talk about how do we network well with them. And we have got a conversation that we're having around livability and how do we use innovation to make our regions really livable and vibrant. So some stage in the future, I would love to have you all in Goondiwindi, and really we're looking forward to our event next week. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much, Julia. It's great to see you here. Now, for our final presenter for the evening, I know I admonished all the other speakers and told everyone we're having no pre-records tonight. It's all be flying, you know, without the net. But I did allow one person to have a pre-record for a very good reason. Adam Mostagal, his partner, his wife, has just given birth to their third child. So I think that's perfectly okay for him to pre-record. And on top of that, as you'll see when I start to share screen, he recorded, Adam is from Launceston, and he's recorded a lovely video from Cataract Gorge in Launceston to finish off our evening with his pitch for all the amazing events happening that he's made happen in Tasmania during Spark. So I'll just get this going now.
Welcome to Launceston. I want to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians, the land of which we are gathered here and where you are as well. My name is Adam. I am the Chief Entrepreneur at the Van Diemen Project. We are pre-filming this, one, to show you how beautiful Launceston is on a regular basis, but two, I'm expecting my third child, but I could not miss being part of the launch event for Spark Festival. The way to see all the great Tasmanian content, click the Tasmania tag in the locations, you will see all the great events that we are running. Running a session on building the culture of innovation in the disability sector. It's a world-first project. Some great case studies and stories that you should definitely learn about there. A communications and networking workshop with the University of Tasmania business students up at the Newnham campus that you're more than welcome to turn up to in person. We're going to run our So You Think You Want to Start a Business workshop online. We run this regularly. It is so much fun to help people get their ideas out there and realise that you are not alone starting a brand new business. At Liddell Library, we're going to run a photography and social media workshop. We're going to run a panel conversation with our regional innovations. It's called The Quiet Pursuit of the Extraordinary. That is what Tasmanians are all about, and they're going to share how they are pursuing the extraordinary. And I'm sorry for everyone else that's running a pitch night, but I think I've got the most remote one. It's on King Island. If you can get to the pub on October 27, we'll even shout you dinner. It's our Bright Ideas Speed Pitch Masterclass. So great to see all the great Tasmanian content being part of Spark Festival. Can't wait to see you all there. And good luck to everyone else. There is so much good stuff. We are definitely going to be popping up in all of your events too. So thanks, Spark Festival.
Wasn't that a great way to end the night? I just find Adam's energy to be amazing. He was someone who, you know, I've only got to meet, like a lot of people here, you know, Spark has been Sydney based for quite a few years, but you know, the COVID silver lining is that I've met so many wonderful people from outside Sydney over the last 2 years. Well, thank you and good night, and may your God go with you. That's it for tonight. So much more happening over the next 2 weeks. We'll be back at the same time next Wednesday for our massive accelerator reverse pitch. So if you're curious about accelerators, you want to get involved in one, definitely tune into that, or if you just want more fun like tonight. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in this evening, and see you at Spark.
Thanks, Maxine.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maxine.
Thanks, Maxine. Bye, everybody. Enjoy.
Thank you.
That was great, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Maxine.
See you, Maxine.
Bye.